And we are live. Yay! Even with the craziness, even with the nutsoid and the way life is, and it's quite all right because you know what? We're all in this boat together. And I am so thankful for those that are with us today, and I'm thankful for those that are going to go ahead and join us a little bit later because it's that time. It is time to excel, where we inspire and we ignite the possibilities that are around us. And we just do this together. And I'm so honored and blessed to have my friend Purvi Patel with us. And she is just an amazing, she has such a passion. She has such a wonderful smile, and she just always makes you feel like family. And I'm so glad that she has gotten part of my family as we are continuing this journey together. And it has been just an amazing relationship. So welcome, Purvi. I am so grateful to have you joining us today. And I know that we're going to be talking about a really cool topic, which is, of course, near and dear to my heart. And because most of you guys know that I am all looking for money management. So if you guys are here and you are, make sure you pop in the chat here and let us know. I do see that someone is watching us. So we love communications. Go ahead and drop it in and we can go ahead and continue to communicate a little bit as we get a chance to talk today, because it is truly time to excel. So I mentioned money. Of course, I always mention money because that's my fun topic and I love to mention money. And as we're going from that, but I think there's something in the small business world and for entrepreneurs and small business owners that may catch them off guard, especially in this time. Let's face facts. The housing market is phenomenal right now. Am I correct on that, Purvi? Is the housing market is just kind of exploding on the, if you want to buy a house, now's the time to do it. If you want to, sell a house, probably now's the time to do it. It's definitely a seller's market out there, and this is your expertise. And you have been in this industry for quite a few years, and plus background upon years of experience bringing that forward. So why don't you share with us a little bit about who you are, and then we'll dive into a little bit of things that you might want to consider for our viewers, as if you're going to purchase a new home and you're a small business owner, there's a few things you got to be thinking of. Is that a fair enough statement?
That's fair enough. Yep. I work for Rock Mortgage. I'm a mortgage officer. I have been in the industry for about 3.5 years, but I've been in the banking world for 10 years now, with experience as a personal banker, loan officer, processor, underwriter, or what they used to call it, credit analysis. So in my years of experience, I have worked with a lot of self-employed customers. A lot of my family members are self-employed. A lot of my friends are self-employed. And the biggest thing is that when you are looking for any type of loan, the criteria are quite different when it comes to self-employment than people who are on a W-2 standard, because of the way the finances are done, how the taxes are presented, how it's reported to the IRS department. And sometimes people have maybe 1 or 2 different businesses, or maybe like 5 or 6 businesses. So there's a lot of ins and outs to it.
Well, that makes sense, because I think as entrepreneurs, there's multiple streams of income that often come through. And sometimes we don't even think about that. We're making money in our business, but maybe not all the time our tax return is reflecting or giving a true picture of what we're truly bringing in the business and things like that. So why do you find it really, really important? Too many business owners, I know I've experienced this as I've been out networking and things. Yeah. Sometimes the paycheck for us, or for me, or for the business owner finds itself on the bottom of the list, because it seems to be almost the last part. Are you seeing that too?
I have seen that. I've seen a lot of people not pay themselves, which is not okay, because you're pretty much saying that you are not making any income. And when it comes down to a mortgage or any type of loan, even if you're getting on a personal loan, you want to show the banker that you are making money and it's not written off on a tax return. So maybe, get yourself an LLC and pay yourself a monthly check of whatever you think is comfortable to represent. I mean, I can't tell you what number that has to be, because that's legal advice. That has to be given from a CPA. But as a officer, I recommend that everybody who's self-employed starts paying themselves. Not only does it help
And I
them
agree
in the
completely.
loan world, but it helps them financially be stable and start that budget that they need versus expenses and income and know where their money's going into.
Absolutely. And in the programs that I share with my clients, that is one of the biggest things is we need to make sure that we are paying ourselves. Otherwise, why are we in business? We should not be in business if our business is not providing the financial stability for our personal lives. Yes, they mirror each other. Yes, they are combined with each other. But you really have got to be taking the mentality that this is your business. So if you're not taking a paycheck from it, then yeah, we got some other issues to be contending with. And there are definitely ways to do that, and they don't have to be complicated. They can be simple, but it's a consistent inflow of cash. It may not be a huge amount, but there is a consistent inflow. And you're saying that that's super, super important, especially when it comes to looking for a mortgage loan, or especially if they're looking to buy a house and things like that. You need to be showing that consistent income from your business to you. Yes, it's your business, but that is really, really important. And that's why you're in business in the first place. So we definitely want to encourage you, wrap your arms around that and put the systems in place. And that's one thing I can help. Let's get the systems in place so that when it's time, you can go over to Kirby and say, here we go. Here's my financial statements. This is what I'm making. This is where I'm at. And this is what I can afford.
I completely agree with you. And the biggest thing I also recommend is keep your personal life separate from your business life. So don't mix and match between
Absolutely.
accounts. Have two separate accounts for two separate things, whether it's personal life where you're going out to the movies, getting your nails done, or whatever that you like to do. And whatever that has to do with your business, keep it in those books.
Absolutely. And that is a foundation. And that is a foundation that I preach. Anybody that works with me knows that's going to be my very first question. Do you have a separate business account? If you say no, you're going to be opening it up
Right.
because it is super, super important to make sure that our business and our personal finances are completely kept separate. And it's important for a lot of reasons. It's important so you know how your business is doing. It's important to know that your business is supplying your personal. Is there going to be crossover? Of course. You're a solopreneur. You're an entrepreneur. You're a small business owner. You're going to invest in your business. Fact of life. But there's ways to account for that and to code that in the books to represent what that money truly is so that you have a clear picture of how your business is actually doing. So absolutely. Thank you for bringing that point up because that is one of the foundations that have to be the case. And then when you do those financial reports and they give them to you, you're just giving them the business side because that often is what, the business is showing where that's going, or you're giving the personal, which is showing your business numbers coming in. Either way.
Well, that also, but when it comes to mortgages, we request for both sides of the returns, whether it's personal and business, because sometimes there's stuff in the personal tax returns that aren't in the business tax returns. So that's why I really recommend that everybody goes out and make sure that they have proper books in place. Maybe use
Perfect.
QuickBooks that you recommend,
Mm-hmm.
or any other system that they feel comfortable with to, mitigate all the costs that they're going into and explain what's the ins and outs of it. Because by the time we look at it, loan officers don't go more in debt. However, because I've been in the business so long, I do know that they do ask for little things that you might be oversighting.
Gotcha. So is there any little tricks? What other things that we need to be considering? We've talked about a paycheck. What other things do, as a small business owner, that we may not be thinking of when it comes to presenting the information to the mortgage loan officer? What other things should the small
So,
business owners be thinking of?
another thing they should be thinking about is what you said, a business bank account. So say for instance, tax returns might not be the best route for them. We have bank statement programs. So
Okay.
in that regard, you want to make sure that your revenues are being deposited. You're showing your withdrawals, you're showing your deposits. who the merchant is, who's the person getting the finances done, on a monthly basis on your bank statements, because sometimes you may not want me to see your tax returns because you have 6-7 businesses, and you're like, per week, let's just do bank statements. So with bank statements, we have to look at 12 months and sometimes 24 months. So if you keep those accurate, it actually helps explain everything. But if you have it like chaotic, where once you might have, I don't know, $10,000 going in, then another month 5,000, then that might be alert for us to explain what's going on. Why do you have this going downwards instead of going upwards? So keep it consistent and make sure that your bank statement stays in the same account. So don't be opening up Bank of America this month and then 2 months later you go and say, well, I don't like Bank of America, I rather open it up with a credit union, because that also causes confusion.
That makes sense. So jumping around, I mean, I guess we're back to consistency.
Yeah.
And getting back to setting up the system, a system that is repetitive, a system that can be simple, but it's kind of planning ahead too. So you're thinking ahead and going. There's another area too that I know that you and I have been talking about, and that is involving debt. How does debt actually play into the process when you're getting, because I'm assuming if you have too much debt, that's another red flag.
It sure is. So a lot of people have a misconception of interest rates, thinking that, oh, my credit score is 750, so I'm going to get the best rate, or my credit score is this. So in our mortgage world, that's not how interest rates work. We have to look at the loan amount. We have to look at debt to income ratios. And we have to look at if you're going to be paying more percentage down for down payment, or if you're going to get a mortgage insurance, what we call PMI, for conventional loans, or MPI for FHA, which means it's a mortgage insurance towards the bank that the customer has to pay until the loan reaches 20%. So going back to debt is that the higher the that you have, loan amount might have to go a lot lower, and the ratios that we are looking for might not get approved. So what I recommend for all my customers is keep credit card balances low, usually 30% or lower. Pay things on time. Do not pay minimum payments, because that does not help you with your credit scores. Student loans, if you have those, put them in like IBR payment, which is income-based repayment, or start paying it. Like, what are you waiting for? Don't wait until it goes up to $100,000 in student loan debt, because that's a federal loan and that will affect you from getting a mortgage.
Okay, so there's a lot of things to consider then.
Yes, and then collection items are a big thing. Medical might not be a big thing. However, we do time to time, depending on how fresh it is. So things like that, we have to communicate about. We have to go through the credit report in detail. And that's when we could decide what kind of interest rates that you do fall under.
Okay. Well, that makes it interesting. So there's a lot to really consider. And it is very different because many people have the W-2, so it's kind of a no-brainer in essence, because that piece of it's already taken care of. But I think that's an area that really a lot of our small business owners, we don't think about. You know, if that's, you just don't think about that side of it. And I'm finding that very interesting, because you've brought up quite a great number of points, from paying yourself to consistency to watching your debt, because that affects your loan rate, that affects your interest rates, that affects your ratios. And there's just so much to think about. And I think that's probably something that you are very well versed in. And I would suspect that you are always open to a conversation, preferably before things get too crazy.
Yes, I communicate. I really communicate hands-on before they even put in an application, or right when they do put in an application. I go extreme to explaining what it is, how it works, what's important, because I have learned over the years that not many people understand debt, like how you said. They don't understand credit. They don't understand just because they make X amount of money as a business owner that they should get approved for the loan amount they're looking for.
Okay. And I think it is confusing. I mean, numbers are usually not a strength for a lot of business owners, and they get confusing. They get overwhelming. And I think that's why you and I have gotten along so well, because we want to take that overwhelming, that confusion, that chaos, and we want to boil it down to the simple process that it truly is. Because when you
Yes.
come right down to it, it's just numbers. It's just numbers. We want to take the emotion out of it. We want to take it down to the bare bones so that our small business friends and entrepreneurs can make educated decisions to make the best whatever for them that they're going. And especially a new home's a big purchase. My goodness gracious. And you want to make sure that they're getting the best value for what money they're investing. And that's why I think what makes a great connection. And as I said, I know that you are more than welcome to share with anyone, and you'd much rather have them talk up front before things get totally out of control, because you have such a passion, and I've been just so blessed to have you as part of my family, that we can actually take a look at this stuff. And I know that, talking with you, and I can send folks over, you're gonna educate them. You're gonna give them the information so that they can make the best decision for them and that they can excel. So is there somewhere that they can reach out to you? Do you have some contact information you can drop in the chat for me, or we can, after this broadcast ends, so if they have any questions, they can follow back up with you?
Yeah, so they could find me on Facebook. I do have a business page.
Okay.
And I forgot what my business page is. I
That's
think
okay.
it's
I'll have
Kirby
you drop it
Patel.
in. Okay.
Yeah, I'll probably drop it into our
Yeah, just
chat
drop
room.
it in the chat. Yep, absolutely.
And I use my personal phone number because I like to be in touch with my customers through text, through phone, through everything. I mean, email is still active, but it's not as prominent as before, because sometimes you might have a random question while you're in the bathroom, like, hey, I need a question, and you're going to tell you doing your business. I might not get back to you right away, but once I see it, I do get back. So that's why I use my personal phone number. And I mean, later on, if I do get to a point where I need to switch phone numbers, I will. But for now, that's how I communicate with people, and I keep them updated through email, through text, through phone calls. Any way I could communicate with them, I will.
And I think that's the biggest key, is communication. Communication and education, and your passion for that just shines through. That beautiful smile of yours, you always make us feel just like family. And I know we've gotten the opportunity to connect and just be able to share information with especially small business owners, because sometimes we get a little overwhelmed and bogged down when things are going crazy. And because you're juggling so many things as the business owner, you're juggling this, you're juggling that, you're juggling over here, you're juggling here, and then you get to put family on that too. And you're going to talk.
So, going back to what Janet said, yes, there's business owners, there's so much that you're doing on a daily basis. I completely understand how busy you guys are. And that's why I set up a checklist. The minute that you talk to me, I'm not thinking of, oh, I'm going to get a loan under the pipeline. It's more of, how am I going to make sure that you're ready from start to finish. Once it goes through the other avenues of the mortgage process, you're not stressed out because you already know I took care of everything. I make sure that I get all the documents I need, and I let you know ahead of time, these are the documents that are going to be requested because of your situation. And obviously, every business owner is going to have different types of documents that they do have to send me. But we get all of them in the matter of minutes before you even go under contract, because by the time you go under contract, you're already stressed out about that house. thinking, oh, is it going to get appraised? What's going to happen? What's my real estate agent going to say? What's going to happen when you do a home inspection? So if you're already ready from the beginning, you don't have to worry about it when it's going through the process through the department.
And that's awesome. And that's what you said, being proactive is huge. That proactivity. And sometimes you got to react, especially when dogs go crazy. It is what it is. So welcome to working from home. It's part of the deal. But thank you so much. And that is just amazing. And what you've shared with us has just been incredible. And that proactivity is huge. And you will help them. And you will basically, in essence, hold their hand through the process so that it's not overwhelming. It is not chaotic. It is not like, ugh. And you're going to let them focus on what they should be focusing on, which is actually enjoying that new house that they're getting ready to purchase and get it up and running for them. And there's enough other pieces they need to be focusing over there. You'll take care of this part for them.
Correct.
So, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. I know that you will drop your contact information in there. And I'm so thankful that you chose to join me and, carved out just a little bit of your time for me. And we got to come out here and just kind of have some fun and actually share with others because, as you know, I always love to say, it is your time to excel. It is your time to ignite and inspire the possibilities that are all around you. And we welcome you to join us each and every week here at 11:30, where you never know what's going to happen. There's always surprises. There's always chaos, but there is always great information. And I'm truly blessed to have lots of friends that love to join us and just to educate and empower you so that you can actually excel. Ferby, is there any other last parting words that you may have that you'd like to share with our viewers?
I would just like to say Janet is a great mentor. Ever since I have joined our little family of BNI and met Janet, I have been blessed. It has been amazing. I have learned a lot of things from her, and I know vice versa, and we piggyback off of each other.
Yeah.
And it's great to have that kind of relationship with people, especially nowadays when there's chaos outside, where it doesn't really make sense. But having that kind of relationship, having to be able to just be relaxed and not stressed out really helps me focus, but it also helps me understand, hey, if I have a situation, I know you.
And thank you. I am so grateful for that, and their kind words are so appreciated. And it is two-way street, and I'm grateful for that. And we just look to the future, and we look to the journey that's ahead of us, and we welcome everyone to continue to join us. So thank you once again, and it is your time to excel. Don't forget. Have a good day, guys. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.